This is the Ben Herman Show.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Ben Herman Show. We have another awesome guest as usual, and this time he actually happens to be multiple titles here. So first and foremost, he started off as just a boot camp member, then went into a coaching program, and then ultimately became a licensed partner here at ProfitableDJ. And then I just noticed this guy just naturally had a lot of leadership qualities in the group, which means really holding people accountable, not being afraid of a little bit of healthy confrontation, right? And calling people out lovingly, by the way. And then I actually asked him to become an assistant mentor inside of the ProfitDJ tribe. And this is Greg Lozano. So what's up, Greg? How's it going?
Good, Ben. How you doing?
Good, good. So great to have you back, man. It's been a couple of years, actually.
I think it was Wedding MBA 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, for sure. Also in Vegas. But we actually set up the studio inside of your hotel room that day.
Yeah, it's a little bit, we've grown a little bit since then. So
Absolutely. I know it's so crazy to think that in just 2 years, ProfitDJ for sure, but you as well. So I'm so excited to get into the conversation today. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and pick back up where we left off in the past. So you, just to provide people context, so you actually got into DJing fairly young, and you DJed for a couple decades, right?
Yeah, so I started DJing 93, 94, and DJed all the way up till the early 2000s when I had kids. And then,
you hung the hat up for a sec, right?
The wife was like, you need to get a real job because I didn't know how to be profitable back then. Had to support the family, so started a different company, grew that into a very successful company to this day that is still going. But right around 2018, I kind of got the itch again. And my kids were kind of the driving force of that. And they were like, "Dad, you really like DJing, you should do this again."
Yeah.
So set up a studio in the house for them for Christmas. And then my oldest son, who I think was about 12 or 13 at the time, was like, "Dad, let's go all out." So I was like, "You want to invest in the company?" Made him buy half the controller.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, with his allowance, and was like, "Let's go." So and now he's one of our DJs actually at 16 years old. So it's
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, and your youngest also is a DJ, right?
Yeah. So my youngest is 13. He does all of our fundraiser events, things like that. Just did a show for a sold-out auditorium of 1,100 people.
1,100 people.
A couple weeks ago, so he's killing it. I'm gonna have him audition for the DJ Takeover next year, actually. So
Ooh, that would
hoping
be
to get him
cool.
down
That's
here
awesome.
and kill that stage as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. And so let's go ahead and talk about how did you come across ProfitableDJ? Do you remember that?
I was part of DJ's Vault, and Joe was like, join this webinar, and I just assumed it would be like a normal Vault webinar, 45 minutes here and there, for 3 days, 45 minutes. I think our first call was 3-4 hours.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this guy is providing way more value than, I don't know what I paid, like $27, $37, something like that. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. And after the end of that first boot camp or workshop, I don't remember what it was back then.
Yeah.
I was like, I need more of this in my life. So pursued additional coaching, and then you came to us and said, I have this idea about a licensed partnership, and Sam and I were like, it's not an idea anymore, you got to do it. So I kind of take credit for pushing you out of your comfort zone.
You really did. For sure.
Getting you to start the license program, and man, that's been like a game changer for me. It's taken my business to a whole nother level. It's taken my personal life to a whole nother level as well.
Oh man, that's awesome. Let's talk about that. So how has it affected your personal life and your business life?
Yeah, so it's bought back my time, right? With running 2 separate businesses, I was just head down at the computer 20 hours a day. Kind of neglected my kids with the idea of it's for their betterment. Yeah. I'm doing this to support my family and make sure they have everything I didn't have.
I think a lot of us actually end up there, right? So
Right.
we start this business because we want to serve our family, and we have this dream of being able to play with the kids once this all works out.
Yeah, but then if you're not careful, they're grown and out of the house by the time it works out. So
Absolutely.
The systems that you've taught me have allowed me to automate or delegate, and buy that time back to actually be able to be on stage with my kids or go out and do something with the kids and my wife as well. Spend more quality time with my wife.
Yeah, we're friends on social media, and I get to see his posts, and he's on a regular. You guys are taking your boys out to sports functions
Yep.
and different things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
What are some things that really stand out to you in regards to Profitable DJ specifically? So not license partnership, but just the Profitable DJ tribe.
Man, it's just even just being here in Vegas and just be sitting down at dinner and someone comes up that was in a workshop a year or so ago and it's like, what's going on? And the community, man, is the number one aspect I think of it. Is
Yeah.
it's like, it's not your typical DJ community. No one's hating on anybody. Everybody's just waiting to see everybody succeed and trying to help them succeed, or not afraid to ask a question.
Yeah.
'Cause there is no dumb question. And I mean, we really live by that.
Yeah.
A really good group of guys and some girls as well in the community that just want to see people grow and take their business to another level.
Yeah, full transparency. You know, we only charge $17 a month, but you know, there is a charge to join the community. And the reason why we decided that against, you know, doing like a free Facebook group is because there's now a real obligation of like, hey, if you stop paying us, you don't get to be a part of the group. So if you're going to be a troll or a person that has inflated ego, we don't want you in the group anyways. So we'll gladly refund your money, which just puts us in the position of you know, control at least, to make sure that we really protect this tribe. Because I would say it's not just in the DJ industry, but there's multiple industries where these groups can get toxic if the moderator doesn't do a great job at really sifting those people out early. And I feel like as of now, things have definitely stayed really healthy and encouraging, and there is absolutely no ego in the group, which is honestly really cool.
No ego at all until you get to the mastermind with the cold plunge.
The cold plunge.
That pulls it out, but it's all good. Yeah, and I mean, one thing you've taught us is people that pay attention. So even though it's only $17 a month, it is still an investment.
Yeah.
You know, so it makes people a little more engaged in wanting to make that platform succeed for them, because yeah, they did pay something for it.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. So, okay, let's talk about the coaching side. So, you know, I asked you to help me out with mentoring because as our tribe kind of grew, I was like, there's no way I can, you know, be in multiple places all at once. Right. Also, we started realizing there's levels to this game of like, you know, folks that are under six figures are working on specific things versus folks who are over six figures in multi-ops already. So, how's that experience been for you?
Man, it was really nerve-wracking at first to be like, you know, a client, and then these are my peers, and now I'm one of their mentors, right? So that was a lot of imposter syndrome to get over that. Everybody in the group is great, and it's been really fun. We're over a year in now with me mentoring people, and I've grown so much in that role. And I think, again, it helps me in my day-to-day life too, because like now I can, when I'm talking to my kids, is to kind of think about it like as if I'm coaching them, right?
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
It's been really good. It's fun to see the group grow, and I'm in there with them. I'm growing with them. So it's been really fun to
That's awesome.
to be part of the actual team. Yeah.
Other thing that really stood out with you specifically is not only your leadership qualities, where again, you weren't scared to call people out on their BS, which is a great thing, right? Because we need that. I think us as small business owners, we are at the very top, and there's nobody else in charge of us, which means whatever beliefs we have, we can get away with, right? Which means we can go, you know what, I don't feel like doing that, and nobody's going to really get me in trouble. And because of that, you're just delaying your own success, right? But having that accountability, someone who loves you, cares about you, and respects you, and wants the best for you, to call you out lovingly, to be like, hey, you know, what you're thinking about here, or what you're doing here, is kind of blocking you from your own blessings right now, right? And I would say that you've definitely become very, very experienced in that area, right? But the other thing that really stood out to me with you, and still to this day, is you're an implementer, right? There's so many people that are knowledge junkies that just love the endorphin hit of learning new things, but they don't actually apply the things that they learn, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is learning how to compartmentalize those things. Like to be like, okay, what's going to drive my business forward the fastest? What's going to make the biggest impact? Okay, I'm going to work on those things. Because, you know, I'm a DJ. I think most DJs have a little bit of ADD, right? Like our brains are like Etch-a-Sketches.
For sure.
An idea comes in, and
entrepreneurs in general.
Right,
yeah,
you know, it comes in, it's like, that's a great idea, and you start it, and then it's gone, and you start something else.
It's like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Right. Yeah, it's I used to have a boss, we called him the human Etch-a-Sketch, right?
Oh, that's funny, yeah.
Like you'd be there, and then it's gone. And I'm that way too. So like the processes of having the, you know, your big goals of what you're going to work on this quarter and breaking that down into monthly sections, into weekly sections, and then down into daily sections. Like, what am I going to do today that's going to help me achieve the goals that I've set? They've made the biggest impact on me, because, you know, I've got those written down. If I get off track, it's open up the book and look and be like, oh, this is what I need to be working on, because this is going to drive me towards the goals that I've set, and this is going to make it so that I can achieve what I want to achieve. So I thank you for that 100%. And now I have the opportunity to be like, hey, this is what's helped me the most. You know, I've been where you're at, and doing these things have been to what has gotten me to here. So if you do these things, that's going to work for you too.
Absolutely.
And, you know, people are, if they see that it's worked for someone else, they're a lot more willing to give it a shot, right?
Yeah. I mean, forever it seemed like, you know, I talked about this event promotion concept, right? That worked really well in my company, but since I fired myself a couple years ago from my company, I'm no longer doing that personally myself, right? And it's interesting that people love the concept, and they definitely were like, yeah, I'm going to use this, blah, blah, blah. But nobody actually pulled the trigger inside the community, right? And then you ended up pulling the trigger on it, and all at once, all these other folks started following suit. I mean, there's a ton of people in our community now actually putting it together and seeing results.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of being scared to do it, right? So I put it off for a long time because, there's all this other information I'm getting that I can be working on. But man, once I did that event promotion, it was just like amazing of the contacts that I built, the relationships that I built. Planning another one right now, so I was, you know, sending off texts this morning to the venue and to the wedding planner, and I got a text from a vendor coming in this morning that wants to be part of it. And yeah, it was amazing. As soon as I did mine and people saw that it like actually worked for me too, because Ben's been telling us for a couple of years, like, dude, the event promotions work, just do it. And as soon as I did mine, like, I think we got 6 people doing them now. I know there's like 5.
Yeah, right?
There's like 5 of them happening in April
sure.
alone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's crazy how everybody's just like gung ho to do it now. Because I actually took the leap of faith and did it and was successful at it, and they saw that and they're like, okay, I can do this too.
Yeah. So I definitely owe my gratitude to you as well for being an inspiration in the group, and hence why, again, like I felt like you would be an awesome mentor in the group as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, as a mentor, we have a very unique perspective, right? We have a really unique vantage point where we get to see everybody, their progress, the people that progress faster versus the people that stay stuck, right? What would you say, in your opinion, are the main differences between a person that excels and a person that stays stuck?
It's really a simple answer. The people that are excelling are taking the processes, taking the information, and implementing those without changing them. Not trying to be like, well, I could do it this way, and then kind of doing it halfway. They're like, this is the process, I'm gonna take it. It might be uncomfortable, but it's going to pay off. And the people that are doing that in the group are like skyrocketing quickly. I mean, quickly. I mean, I'm guilty of not doing it as fast as I should have, because I mean, I am torn between, I have another business to run as well, and I'm only one person.
Definitely.
So hopefully one of these days I can find someone to run that other business.
That's the next thing I'm working on with him,
It is. I mean, what I've found is people want to DJ. People don't want to, I do phone systems. People don't want to deal with people's phone problems, right? So it's easy to find DJs.
Yeah.
That's easy. But hopefully one day we'll get someone in there to run that for me, and I can fire myself from that business as well. So like even taking the systems and the implementation practices from ProfitableDJ into my other business has helped grow both of my businesses.
Because business principles are business principles. They
Yeah,
work
right.
across
It doesn't
industry.
matter what industry you're in. Like it
Yeah.
might be a little bit different, but you learn something from DJing that you can implement in one of your other businesses. It's just gonna, help them both grow at the same time. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, I agree with you though. I noticed that, again, coming back to that whole knowledge junkie where people love to learn, but they don't love to do the work, right?
Yep.
I was actually asked in a previous interview, just I think yesterday or the day before, someone had asked me, hey, what books are you reading currently? And I told them nothing. And the reason why is because I'm in implementation mode right now, right? Because sometimes you have enough information, you just need to implement all the damn work, right?
I had a similar conversation with one of the other partners. It's like, well, I've been watching these YouTube videos about this. And I was like, yeah, man, I used to watch YouTube videos all the time. And I was like, I totally stopped because it was just too much coming in.
Yeah.
Like it took my focus away from what I was actually needing to focus on. I was like, and it's probably been almost a year.
Yeah.
And I used to watch YouTube videos on the daily, like all the time. Like, what can I soak in? What can I soak in? I've got everything I need to soak in through Profitable DJ. Like, I don't need to go searching for the answers somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to just hyper focusing on whatever problem you're trying to solve, whatever problem's in front of you. First off, in DJing, but also DJ entrepreneurship, there are a million things we have to work on in order to scale our businesses, right? But you can't, you're only one person, and even if you have a team, your team and you only have 24 hours in a day. So there's only so much you can get done in any given day, right? So it really comes down to being intentional and hyper-focusing on what is the immediate thing that needs to happen that has the biggest payoff in the long term, right? We talk about our WIGs, right? Wildly important goals, and our weekly commitments. And it comes down to just choosing 3. That's it, because anything over 3 causes overwhelm.
Yeah.
It dilutes the progress.
And sometimes it's hard to pick just 3, right? But another thing that I give you credit for is like, have your maybe later list. You know, so that idea pops in your head before it gets erased by the Etch-a-Sketch, write that down on the maybe later list. And then once your WIG is accomplished, you can go back to that list and say, okay, I got this done for this quarter. I got some extra time. Which one of these do I want to focus on now? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it has made the biggest impact on me in actually getting things done, because I would always start something and never finish it. So I had 100 things started, but nothing finished.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, man, I'm going to finish these things. And my day's not done till I finish these things. Once they're finished, my day's done. I can go downstairs, hang out with the family. Right?
To think about that you're a husband, a father of 2, you volunteer at your church, you're part of the community, you run a whole nother business in phone communications and also the DJ business, you have scaled your DJ company quite fast.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like, man, I was so scared to have a team. So scared to have a team.
Yeah.
Just because, like, are they going to execute on the level that I'm accustomed to my clients seeing? The funny thing is that fear was there. My team executes better than I do. Like, they get the
best. Which is a beautiful thing,
It's so
right?
great. Like, you get the reviews, and then I get my review, and I was like, damn, they did a better job than I did. Okay. You know, so I have no worries about sending my team out now. I mean, my team, there's 2 teams now, myself and another team. Looking to grow that to a 3rd team, but like, it's amazing. Once you have that confidence that you know that you've shown them the systems of how you want it done and that they can fully execute on that, it's just such a weight off my shoulders. And now, like, I book my team before I book myself, right? So that buys me, again, more time.
Yeah.
So, like, if we're not double booked that weekend, I have the weekend off and spend it with my family. You know, there was a presentation yesterday. There's only so many weekends in your kid's life.
Yeah.
Right? And because from 0 to 2, they really don't know who you are. From 16 to 18, they don't want to know who you are. So, you know, you've got that finite amount of weekends. And yes, as DJs, we have the weekdays.
But they're at school.
But they're at school, or they're doing this. In the summer, they're at summer camp or whatever, right? So, I mean, it's really just pulling that time in and just taking full advantage of it. Because, man, I'll tell you, those kids grow fast, and they're going to be gone before you know it. Like, they're going to be out of the house.
I think it's beautiful that you're actually getting your kids involved in the business, because one is they get to look up to dad, right? They always cherish those memories. 2, you're empowering them to understand a work ethic and what it takes, right? Even when it comes to customer service or doing the right thing, even though it's hard sometimes, right? Those kinds of things are characteristics that it's character building for them, I think, for kids.
Right. I mean, I think I'm so proud. I mentioned my 13-year-old doing that sold out venue. My 16-year-old's a sophomore in high school. Their prom's coming up. Prom's only for juniors and seniors. He's DJing that.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he gets to go DJ his high school prom that he can't even go to otherwise.
Yeah, and he's gonna get paid instead of paying.
He's getting paid instead of paying. And like, I remember when I was in high school, it's all about the cred, right? Well, if you're the DJ, he's on a whole nother level now. So like, learning a skill, being able to take that. I tried to get my kids involved in my phone business. They wanted nothing. Kind of like, it's easy to hire DJs, not phone people. They wanted nothing to do with it. Man, they are both just gung-ho to be part of the DJ business to,
That's incredible.
you know, my 13-year-old has a web page on our website. Like, he's actively booking middle school dances,
Wow.
right? Like, he has his own packages because most middle schools can't afford the prices that we charge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a cheaper option. Go with DJ Ben.
Yeah. And on top of that, there's a legacy plan there where,
Right.
you know, once you decide to hang up the headphones, you can pass it on to your boys, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know they're learning the systems just like I train my kids just like I train my team.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
they don't just get to jump in. They have to go through the processes as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you've mentioned multiple times in our conversation about being uncomfortable. Man, I was scared to do this. I was scared to hire the first people. I was scared to put on the event promotion. My youngest was scared to get on the microphone in front of 1,100 people, right?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that? Because I know, like, you and I have gone through some loving conversations as well, right?
Every time I get comfortable, you nudge me right back on out, and growth happens in uncomfort, right? If you stay stagnant because you're comfortable there's no growth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, and you do it every time. Like, we don't even talk about it. You're just like, so I've noticed. Let's try this, you know? And I mean, even asking me to be an assistant mentor, like, that was so uncomfortable. Because, like I said, these are my peers. I've been in classes with these guys, and now I'm supposed to
They
be...
tear you apart, right?
Right, and
Yeah.
now I'm supposed to be telling them what to do. So that was super uncomfortable. And now, I mean, the group of guys we got are so amazing.
And they look up to you.
Right, and
Yeah.
I mean, and they help too. Like, if I don't know the answer, they're jumping in with it, right? So it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growth comes when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. So what do you have to say to that? Because there's someone watching right now that's like, I get it, Greg, but right now I'm just scared and I don't know how to get past it. What kind of advice could you give that person?
Man, I'm gonna go to Nike in the 90s, man. Just do it. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
You might not succeed every time, right? But you never know until you try.
But walk me through your process. Like, you know, when I've asked you to do something that's really uncomfortable, what's going through your mind and what gets you to the point ultimately where you're like, all right, Greg, let's just suck it up. Let's just do it.
I put a lot of
This is
faith.
battle, I'm sure, right?
Right, but I put a lot of faith in your success. Like, you've done it. You're not going to tell me to do something that you haven't done or you haven't tried.
Yeah.
Right? That you haven't implemented yourself. So I ask myself two questions now before I make any decision in my business. Is this going to generate me more leads, or is this going to generate me more revenue? If the answer is no to either one, or to one of those, because either one's fine, right? More
Yeah.
leads actually leads to more
Leads to
revenue,
more
right?
revenue anyways, yeah.
So if I say no to either one of those questions, it's like, probably don't need to step out of my comfort zone to do that. But if the answer is yes, you should really give that a shot. It might not work out, but it probably will. And it's going to either generate me more leads, which in turn generates more revenue, or it's just going to straight up generate more revenue.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Yeah. I think it's, again, in the beginning, I didn't really give it that much credit. And you know my story about that, right?
Right.
But the more that I've generated success, you know, I'm still on my roadmap as well, right? I mean, I haven't made it yet either. I mean, I've definitely generated a certain level of success, but I've got a way larger roadmap that, you know, I'm still at the very beginning, and we're making some really big moves, right? So it's like, to know that these big moves are my beginning still is definitely crazy. And I'm also pushed outside of my comfort zone because I feel like every time that, you know, you get comfortable, if you stay there long enough, you're just staying stagnant.
Right.
And I don't know, to me personally, I hate being bored.
Yeah, and you know, this just came to my mind is like, never thought about having a mentor before, right? It didn't even cross my mind. Like,
Yeah.
why would I need a mentor? You have a mentor. Your mentor pushes you outside your comfort zone.
Definitely.
Now I have a mentor that pushes me outside my comfort zone. So
And then you're a mentor to
and
other
now
people.
I'm
that
a
you're
mentor, and I'm pushing them out
Right,
of their
it's
comfort zone,
exponential
right?
impact,
So it's
yeah.
just like, it's the compounding effect, right? So
Yep.
like, I would say if you don't have a mentor in whatever you're doing, find one, right? Whether it's through Profitable DJ, whether it's through something else.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, find a mentor. And I think the coolest thing about Profitable DJ is, you know, we're relationships over transactions. So if you're not the right fit for us, we're going to suggest a program that will be the right fit for you,
Yeah,
if it's with us or not.
absolutely.
So
yeah. We care more about the impact than we care about, you just becoming a client or a customer.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this though. So, in regards to a mentor, some people are like, okay, why is a mentor important? Like, how has that made a difference for you?
Right. Well, I mean, they've been through what you're going through, right? So that when you're looking for a mentor, you got to make sure that they've actually done what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah. Which you have to be very weary of, right? There's
Right.
a lot of fake gurus out there
Right.
that claim, and all they're doing is just regurgitating information that they watched on another YouTube video versus actually having the experience, like actually getting the results themselves, because that's what they can teach and train from a place of real experience versus just theory.
Right. And I think I was super fortunate to stumble upon you, right? Like from the first 5 minutes that you started talking, I was like, this dude knows his stuff. He provides way more value than what he's charging. Like I need this in my life, right? I knew very early on in that first workshop that like, I need more of this. This is going to get me where I need to go. So like when you're talking to someone, ask yourself those questions. Are like they providing me value about what I need to know? If the answer is yes, pursue that. Ask them, hey, would you be willing to mentor me? Because like Alan Berg says, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So yeah, it might be uncomfortable to ask, but where's the growth happen? In uncomfort.
Yep.
So, I mean, you see these reoccurring themes that we keep coming back to, right? This is where it happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and a lot of times, this actually, again, came up in another interview just yesterday, where a lot of times the people that you look up to, they've generated a certain level of success, which means their time is already limited, right? Because they have other opportunities that are, the more successful you become, the more opportunities are being thrown at you, right? Because you're the who's who that everybody wants to work with. But he earns that. He put in the time, because I think about the whole plumber analogy. I don't know if you've ever heard of the plumber analogy, where a plumber gets hired and there's a leak and he does a little tinkering, tink, and like whatever he does in a matter of like less than 10 minutes, and then he charges $3,000. It's like, you charge me $3,000 for 10 minutes? It's like, well, what you're paying for is the 30 years of experience that got me to a point where I could figure it out in 10 minutes or less.
Right. And I think we have that same analogy with a wedding, right? People seem to think you're going to charge me $3,000 to $5,000 for 6 hours. It's not that 6 hours. It's the years and years and years leading up to that 6 hours. It's the hours and hours and hours of prep leading up to that day. If you can paint that picture to the clients, they have it's a lot easier for them to accept that larger ticket, right? Like, I mean, day one of me joining the program, you were like, raise your prices 10%. And I was like, actually, it might have been 20%.
Oh, was it?
I don't remember what it was. But I had just raised 10%, and you're like, raise them another 10%. And I was like, dude, they're not going to go for that. Booking more weddings than I've ever booked.
You doubled your price, right?
I've doubled my average ticket.
Average ticket. Oh,
because
gotcha.
I've also added
which is even more than. That's awesome.
Right, upsells. I think so. A year and a half ago, I was at an average ticket of $1,500. Now I'm at an average ticket of, I think it might be up to $3,200 now.
And more people are booking you at a $3,200 ticket than $1,500.
Right. So like you said in your presentation on Monday, like people see the value in a higher ticket price. Really, you're not the budget DJ. So as long as I'm not marketing to the people looking for a budget DJ, and in my market we have mostly destination weddings. Well, if you're having a destination wedding, you got cash.
Yeah.
Like you don't just come to Montana to get married to come to Montana to get married.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got the money, and as long as I can show you the value of what I'm providing, they have no problem signing that ticket.
Yeah. I have found that, success is actually very counterintuitive. It's not what you think is common sense. That's one of the main reasons why so many people are struggling to reach their level of success that they want to reach, right? Because the thing is, like, what my level of success is different for you than it is for anybody else. It's personal, right? But one thing that we all have in common is that you'll learn along the journey that a lot of the things that you thought were the things that were going to work out ended up not working out. It's the direct opposite of that, right? I think of one of my best friends is super into fitness, right? And he taught me some things that were so counterintuitive when it comes to fitness. Like, for instance, you want to lose water weight. What is the intuitive thing to think that you should do?
To stop drinking water.
Right, to stop drinking water.
Right?
It's the opposite, because when you stop drinking water, your body goes in survival mode and goes, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna get a drop of water again, so I'm gonna hoard this water now, right? Versus if you you shouldn't drown yourself, but like, if you consume a lot of water, you're actually giving your body permission to release that water weight.
Right, and it's flushing out other things as well while you're doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Same with like losing fat. A lot of people think, oh, I should not eat any fat, zero fat, everything, which a lot of foods that have zero fat usually have higher sugar content.
Right.
And that's actually what ends up creating the bad fat that we want to get rid of, right? It's about eating healthy fats, which then actually burns the unhealthy fats, which is crazy to think about, right? So again, success is counterintuitive. Just like, we think, oh, in order to get more bookings, we should reduce our prices. If we raise our prices, most likely more people will say no to us. Counterintuitive, because you got to experience that.
Yeah, well, more people might say no. So what do? Find more leads, right?
Because we talk about, even in my speech, law of averages.
Right, people are still going to say yes.
Yep.
You just have to find more people to get out there in front of to say yes.
Yeah.
So do an event promotion, get more leads.
Yeah. Well, let's circle back to the mentor conversation, though. Yeah. So someone might be watching this like, cool, Greg, yeah, I get it. But I've tried to ask people, and they've told me no. And I've also reached out to people, and I can't afford it.
Yeah, well, so I know your story. Your mentor didn't say yes the first time, but you continued to pursue.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of like your story of pursuing your wife, right? She didn't say yes the first time. She didn't say yes the second time, the third time. And then she ended up actually asking you to marry her, right?
Yeah. 4 years later, by the way.
So if they say no, I mean, don't hound them, don't annoy them, but still put yourself out there to them so they can see, like, they're really interested. They want this. They're looking for information.
Yeah, yeah.
And it might not work, but it might lead you to somewhere else, right? They might point you to somewhere else. And yes, it might be expensive, but you really got to ask yourself, is it worth that expense? Like, if I invest this money, it's an investment. It's not just throwing cash away. It's an investment into progression, right? So if I invest this money, am I going to generate more than what I've invested? Probably yes.
Yeah, especially if you do your research on
Right.
that person.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, don't just go to the first guy you meet and like, hey, I'm gonna give you $100,000.
right, for sure.
But
yeah.
like I said earlier, make sure that they're actually providing you value, and if they're providing you value in your conversations, it's probably gonna be worth the investment.
Yeah. One thing that I have found helps me too is asking the opposite side of that equation as a question of like, what is it gonna cost me not doing this?
Yeah, 100%.
Right, the opportunity cost. So, for instance, one of my mentors told me, one of the most expensive things that we pay for in life is every year that passes that we don't understand how to make $1 million or whatever that number is,
right.
$10 million, $1 billion, whatever it is. Every year that passes, when you could have actually had that opportunity, because your lack of knowledge, you're sacrificing that result every single year.
Right.
And it just adds up 5 years, 10 years, 30 years.
Because the sooner you get that money, the sooner you can do something with it to compound it and just keep it stacking on top of itself.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just about the money, right? It's also about how do you buy your time back? How do you get back your time? Because if you only have financial freedom but not time freedom, you have no time to enjoy that financial freedom, right? So it's not worth it either. So I think it really comes down to the healthy equation is to figure out both. How do you make the most amount of money and also get the most amount of time back? So you can actually enjoy it with your loved ones, create memories that you can be proud of by the time that you're on your deathbed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'd love to talk to you more, man, but I know that you've got to get to another presentation. What I'd love to do, it's just one of my favorite things to do for closing out, is I'd love for you to look in that camera right here and talk to a DJ directly that is watching this, of like, give them like your best advice of like, what is the thing that's been the biggest game changer in your business and your career, and also maybe your personal life, that could inspire them to maybe take action on?
Right. Well, I think we alluded to it earlier that I didn't really set goals before.
Yeah.
Set a goal. Set a monthly commitment of what you're going to do to reach that goal. set a weekly commitment of what you're going to do to reach that goal, and then set daily commitments of what you're going to do to reach that goal. Man, that has made the biggest impact on me, and has allowed me to grow much quicker once I started doing that. Like, I wasn't necessarily doing that right off the bat, and I was growing, but it wasn't growing quickly. Once I changed my mindset into like, okay, this is really important, it's amazing the difference it's made. So I mean, I just, in your head, find that vision of where you want to be in a year, where you want to be in 3 years, where you want to be in 5 years, and really sit down and think about it and write it down. Because if you write it down, you're more likely to take action on it, right? Write it down, and then take that uncomfortable leap of faith, man. Just jump in and get it done. Yeah.
I would say that, by writing the goal down too, it creates an accountability for you, because when shiny objects come in of other exciting things, you can remind yourself of what you committed to. Right. Because a lot of times the trick is to say no to shiny objects that could become a distraction and actually reduce the progress of the thing that you're working on. Yeah. Right? I mean, if it doesn't actually align with your path, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I have mine written down in the full focus planner, but I also have mine on a whiteboard right above my desk. So every time I look up, I see what my goals are, and I can remind myself, and what I'm doing right now, is that going to help me reach my goal? Like, and if it's not, I need to stop what I'm doing and refocus, right?
Yeah.
Just do it.
And so what Greg alluded to also, or touched on, was to write down the goal. You increase the chances of actually implementing and ultimately getting the result. But the other thing that actually really increases it is by sharing that written goal with someone that you trust and that you respect, especially the respect part, because you don't want to let someone down that you respect, right? So I know that, so it sounds like you write in your full focus planner, you write it on your whiteboard, but in addition to that, you also post it inside the community as a comment that all of us can see and hold you accountable on. And if we see this like weekly commitment repeat for multiple times in a week, we're going to call you out lovingly, right?
Get a nudge.
I'm like, hey, we've noticed, like, you said that you were going to get this done for the last 3 weeks, and there's been no progress on this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Every Monday morning, like, that's the first thing I do Monday morning, is go through, because so on top of having it in my planner and on my whiteboard, there's also a document on my computer from the whole year. And it just goes through, okay, what did I do last week? What am I going to do this week? And I post those every Monday.
And how many times have you caught yourself, like, Monday morning or Sunday night, you're like, oh, I got to get it done?
There's a lot of Monday mornings that I'm getting work done, right? Like, it's like, and it's amazing, because if I didn't have that list, that wouldn't have gotten done on Monday morning. But I actually block out the first 2 hours of every Monday morning. I have it blocked out.
Gotcha.
To just make sure that I've got everything done and to plan on what I'm going to do for the following week.
Yeah. Wow. This has been so awesome, Greg. Well, let people know, how can they reach out to you if they have any more questions, or if they want to give you a follow? Yeah,
so I'm definitely in the community. So if you want to join the community, that's the easiest way.
Community.profitabledj.com, by the way.
Yeah, but I'm also at Party People MT from Montana, on the socials. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Hit me up, DM me, whatever, man. I'm here to help.
Sounds good. Awesome. Love you, brother. Thank you
too,
so
man.
much for being a part of the show.
Yeah, it's great.
Definitely.
Thank you.